everyone doing this morning? Alright, my name is Alexander Peebles. This is my presentation on the history of phones from the 1800s to the mid-1960s. Alright, what is a telephone? Anybody know? Yes, listen to this. It's an apparatus or process for transmission of sound or speech to a distant one. Who has a cell phone? Who has used a telephone, like a rotary or a touchtone phone in the past? Alright, so starting off, we have the gallows telephone, 1875. This one didn't use actual voice, it used a set of read relays on the device. They all vibrated at different frequencies. Next, we have the liquid telephone. This is the first one where it used articulate words. It was designed by Alexander Graham Bell. And the first alleged words were, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want you." Nowhere in the notes, in Mr. Watson's, or Bell's notes, that it said these words. In 1876, this model was displayed at the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition, and one of the judges, Sir William Thompson, said that this was the most wonderful thing in America. So it's good. All right. So in 1877, the first commercial model telephone came out. The telephone was used by Alexander Graham Bell, and the phone consisted of a single transmitter receiver. So if you were talking into the hole, and then you had to bring your head down to listen. So that's mildly inconvenient for people. In 1878, with butter stamp, it was a wall-mounted phone where you held the receiver and transmitter in hand, and it's called the butter stamp because it looks like a butter stamp like that down here. Yeah. And the button on the machine, on the phone, you use to contact the operator. In 1878, we have the Wolf set, and it added a second transmitter receiver. So because people were getting confused talking with just one transmitter receiver, so they added a second one. And then in the center it had a crank to signal operate. In 1880, we have the Lake. It improved voice clarity by using a carbon transmitter. It greatly aided the fledgling telephone service. It was invented by Francis Blade Jr. and based on the work of Thomas Edison. And then in 1882, this was built by the Bell system by Western Electric. They used Bell's hand receiver and Blake's transmitter. It was the first standard for many years, and one of the first to place the crank and convenient on the side. This is the first long-distance transmitter. There wasn't really a name for it. The search for better transmitting, they were looking for better ways to transmit voice, and they found that the platinum diaphragm was better for the long-distance transmission. In 1919, the dial telephone came out. So at this point, the United States has topped at 100 million population. And dial service was coming in strongly. It was many years before complex equipment had sufficiently developed for use in larger cities. New York didn't get these phones until 1922. I have a video showing how to use a dial phone.
Word 49970 Dial. When dialing, notice that I brought my finger around until it firmly touched the finger stop. And now I remove my finger and let the dial go back by itself. A failure to bring your finger firmly at the finger stop with each pull of the dial may cause you to reach a wrong number. The same can happen if you force the dial back instead of letting it go back by itself. An important point to remember when dialing is that wherever you have the letter O or the numeral O, as in our example number word 49970, you will find the letter O next to N on the left side of the dial. The numeral O is always in the same space with the word operator. Soon after you dial the number you want, you will hear the ringing signal. Let the telephone ring for at least a minute or about 10 rings to give the person you're calling time to answer. If the number dialed is busy, you will hear the familiar busy signal. When you hear this signal, hang up. Try again a little later. Now, those of you with the party line may lift your telephone to listen for the dial tone, your conversation, or the ringing signal. This means that another party on your line is using the telephone. When this occurs, hang up.
In 1938, they came out with like a business telephone. So this one had 6 buttons, and one was to hold, and the others were to transfer you to different departments. This model became very useful for businesses, of course. I used a phone just like this, but with, normal dial tone. Very useful. The new 500 set type series. This was the most commonly used telephone in the United States at the time. And all sets had an adjustable volume control for the bell located in the bottom of the base. And this was the first to come out with in a variety of colors. In 1956, we have the wall telephone. In houses and businesses with limited counter space or desk space, these were put on the wall, and they were popular in basements, kitchens, and garages, with counter space. And last, we have the touch-tone telephone. It was the new era in communications. This dial is replaced by push buttons, and as each button is pressed, simultaneous music tones are generated and transmitted to a central receiver office that translated into a series of pulses similar to those made by